one of the trickiest things with photography is actually finding time to take the photos. Whoever you are, finding time, I guarantee, will be the hardest thing to do, whether you're professional or amateur or absolute beginner, whatever it is. It's that finding that time. And really, my recommendation is just grab the moments you can, whenever, wherever you are. And this is one of those moments here. So I'm just waiting for someone to come and change the tyres on the car. We're getting new tyres fitted, and so there's a delivery window while I wait. I can keep an eye out over here. This is our park, that not our park, but a public park that's just outside the house, so I can keep an eye out for the van, but I can get some photography in here. And this little corner here is really alive with insects at the moment. There's a couple of peacock butterflies that are flying around. I can see one there, and they're really cool, and that they're sort of territorial, so every now and then they'll fly up and have a little joust or something, and do something exciting, so that's quite cool. There's some bees flying around here as well, and lots of bees and insects around, which is really exciting. I've seen a tawny mining bee, which is one of my absolute favourite bees, only surpassed by the leafcutter bee, but in terms of looks, the tawny mining bee is probably one of the best you can get. And so in terms of approach with this, the first thing is you just want especially if you're going for in-flight shots, you want as fast a shutter speed as possible. I'm probably going to be about 4,000 for the butterflies. For bees, sometimes you might even want to get up to 8,000 per second, but you'll only be able to do that with an electronic shutter. So if you're on a DSLR, stick to that 4,000 per second. Now, in terms of focusing, I mix between several approaches really. Focusing is the hardest bit, especially if you're going for in-flight kind of shots. So I'll go from one using a small single point focus for probably a not in-flight shot, to be honest, but a perched butterfly or a resting bee, and I want to get that single point on the eye or in the antennae, some specific area of the subject, so I want that really accurate focus on that. Then I might mix up with a group of autofocus points, maybe even the full width of the frame, or as many autofocus points as you can activate, so they can stay with the subject around the whole frame if you can. So that's one option. And then the final option I do is that manual focus. So I'll find a focus point and then switch to manual focus with the anticipation that the butterfly or the bee will move into that focus zone. So you only get one shot from that, but it's actually quite a good approach. I find I do that quite often with in-flight subjects, just because these movements so fast, it's nigh on impossible it's pot luck when the autofocus is active. So you sort of increase your chances a little bit when you have that static focus field, as long as the subject moves in the right direction. So sometimes they'll move away, which is obviously not ideal, but I definitely find that improves the chances, which leads me on to the other aspect of this, is actually firing as many shots as you can in that moment. So a burst of shots, the fastest you can. So the more frames you fire, the more chances you're going to have that point where the subject and the focus meet. So that's the kind of final aspect of it. And one of the really nice things to do, if you can, is just arrange your composition and then wait and just wait for the moment to happen. And that's the real dream for those things to come together. And that's it. That's what I'm going to be doing now while I wait for the tyre people to arrive, and hopefully it'll be a while, so I'll get a bit more time to have a play. And the great thing about that is you get more used to your camera every time you pick it up. I don't need to have any photos to take away this, although it would be nice to add some on at the end of this video, to be fair. But the point is, I'm out practicing, getting a feel for the camera, moving my hands, getting my eyes in for this, and maybe if I do it again later in the year, or maybe even next year, I've got that much more information in my head and much more experience to nail it the next time I'm out as well. So I hope you manage to force some time for yourselves and your cameras, and get some great shots. So thanks for watching.